don't know about you, but there has been an uproar of retro gaming going around, and this has led me to dust off my old PS3 and start playing some of my favorite games again. This has made me extremely happy because I have a deep love for this system. This generation of consoles is special to a lot of folks, not because of just how amazing the games were, but this was also the first time you had a truly online connected system. It was mind-blowing at the time, and playing it present day, it still feels like a work of art. I'm gonna take a look at some of the things that made the PS3 just so much fun to play, and some of its quirks too. Different models of the PS3. So generally speaking, most people know about the three distinct models of the PlayStation 3. First, you have the original fat model that came with that piano black finish with the Spider-Man font, then came the slim model with that matte black finish, and then came lastly the super slim model with that iconic colorways and also that iconic door shutting mechanism. And it's no surprise that the original fat model is the most sought after all these versions, and it's specifically the three launch versions that people want the most. And these three launch versions are so special because they actually have backwards compatibility for PlayStation 2 games. So if you didn't know, the original launch models, which were the CECHA and the CECHB, actually had the PS2's Emotion Engine on the motherboard, which allowed it to play pretty much every PS2 game. Sony later released, a couple revisions later, the CECHE model, which was the 80GB model, and that actually didn't have the physical Emotion Engine chip, but it actually ran an emulation of the Emotion Engine. And what you got with that chip is that it would still play PS2 games, but you did lose out on a little bit of the compatibility. Now, Sony did release later releases of the fat model that removed the PS2 compatibility, and those are actually the models that I had when I was growing up. So I actually had the 40GB Spider-Man 3 PS3 bundle, and that one was really awesome, but it did crash out on me. And one of the biggest issues with these fatter models is the overheating issues and the cause of yellow light of death. Now, before I get too much in the weeds here about what caused the overheating issues, personally this brought a lot of PTSD for me because I remember my console getting the yellow light of death twice on the same console, and there was just so much time I spent on the internet trying to figure out how to fix it, and I ended up causing more damage because I didn't know what I was doing. Now, the biggest reason why these consoles would overheat a ton was because of the RSX chip and CPU inside these consoles. The original run of releases, aka the fat consoles, had a large 90nm RSX chip that drew in a lot of heat. Sony wouldn't fully fix this issue until the releases of the Slim and Super Slim. The Slim had a 40nm RSX chip, and the Super Slim had a 28nm RSX chip inside of it. Obviously, you compound that with just better, more efficient cooling. Those Super Slim and slimmer consoles are just a lot more reliable nowadays than those fatter consoles were. Now, when it comes to which console you should buy, that's totally dependent on you as the consumer. If you're someone that truly wants that backwards compatibility, then of course you're going to need to target those three versions of the fat model. And then those consoles will also require a ton more upkeep on your part. That means you're going to have to take apart the console. That means you're going to have to dust out the console quite frequently, and you're going to have to add new thermal paste on it to just keep the console cool. The best way I can describe the fat consoles is almost like an old car. They're really pretty and really cool to look at, but they're going to require a lot of upkeep to keep them going. Now, let's say you don't trust yourself to open up a console and you just want to play PS3 games, and primarily I would say a lot of people fall into that bucket, and that's pretty much me, because I don't feel comfortable opening up any console because I feel like I'm gonna break it, aka younger me is probably thinking about that right now. But if you're just looking to play PS3 games, I think going for the Slim or Super Slim is your best option, because not only are you going to be getting a console that's just a little bit more reliable, you're also getting a console that's just going to be a hell of a lot more cheaper. A lot of times you can find the Super Slim or Slim bundled up with a ton of video games for almost $150 or less, and that's just an amazing deal for a console that has so many amazing games. Now, I mentioned this earlier when it came to taking apart the old fat consoles, but since these consoles are so old, a lot of times that means the accessories you buy for it, aka the controller, a lot of times those are going to be pretty yucky and grimy, so this is the perfect opportunity to open them up and give them a good clean. Now, this is coming from someone that doesn't feel comfortable opening up any piece of tech because I feel like I'm going to break it, but I was easily able to open up the DualShock 3 controller, remove the components, and just give everything a good wipe down and clean. The only thing you really have to worry about are the springs on the trigger buttons and also removing the battery, but once you do that, it's a pretty easy clearing, and I actually had to replace one of the potentiometers on the analog sticks to fix a stick drift problem, and I was able to do that pretty easily without any soldering, and honestly, being able to fix it made me feel really proud about myself because I was just able to give a controller a new life again and use it and play it all the time. Now, when it comes to price, I did mention this with the Slim and Super Slim models, but if you're looking for that backwards compatibility PS3, you're going to be looking to be spending anywhere close to $275 all the way up to $500 up to $600 depending on the type of bundle that you get with that fat backwards compatible PS3 game selection. Now, the PS3 wouldn't be held in the same standard that it is right now without having an amazing amazing selection of games. So many of the iconic characters that we know and love from PlayStation franchises all started out on the PlayStation era. So games like Uncharted, Last of Us, Infamous, Killzone, Resistance, I mean the list goes on and on. All these games kind of started off in the PS3 generation, and it's just amazing to see how they started off and to what they are now. So we know about the iconic characters, but when it comes to selecting the type of games you want to purchase, I personally would only go for PS3 games that are stuck on the PS3 generation. So I would technically avoid games like Uncharted and Last of Us that have been ported over to PS4 and PS5 respectively, because if you play those games on the newer consoles, you're just going to be getting better graphics and better performance. But I would stick to those games like Infamous, like a Resistance, like a Killzone, Little Big Planet, that are stuck on the PS3 generation, where you can sink a lot of time in and know that this is the only place that you can play them at. So if those PlayStation exclusives don't do it for you, this was also the generation of consoles that had the HD collections. Now the HD collections brought back these amazing PS2 classics that we know and love and remastered them for the PS3. So think of games like Sly Cooper, Ratchet & Clank, Jak and Daxter, God of War, Dragon Ball Z Budokai. Now when it comes to some of the games I have personally been playing on this console right now, games like WWE 13, Ratchet & Clank, Dragon Ball Raging Blast 1 and 2, Infamous, all of these games I've really been enjoying, and then I've also purchased the Spider-Man games on PS3, so I'm looking forward to playing those as well. Now when it comes to the price of these games, this is where it's going to vary widely depending on the type of consumer that you are. So if you're someone that is wanting complete in box, which are the prices I'm going to be giving to you, you're going to be paying anywhere close to $15 to $30 for those Sony exclusive titles like Infamous, Resistance, Killzone. But if you're looking for games published by third-party studios or games where companies have lost the license to those characters or franchises, think of Activision with Spider-Man and some of those anime studios or Dragon Ball Z and Naruto, you could be paying close to almost $60 to upwards of $200 depending on the game and how rare it is. Now when it comes to purchasing these old games, obviously you can go to a place like eBay, but this is also a great opportunity to support some of your local game stores because they're going to have a huge selection of PS3 games to choose from.
Right here is my favorite New York pizza joint, and I'm gonna go get me a New York slice.
Now let's say you don't care about the physical games and you just want all your games to be digital. Well, luckily, as of recording this, which is January 2026, you can still access the PlayStation Store off your PS3. But the caveat here is that if you do want to purchase anything off the PSN Store from your PS3, you have to load up funds onto your PSN account through the computer, and then you can start purchasing things off your PS3. Now there's still a large selection of AAA games on there, and obviously all the Sony exclusive titles are pretty much all on the PSN Store for you to purchase. But if there are games that you want to play that are by companies that no longer have the license to those games, well, you're just SOL, because the only way to play those games will be to buy the physical version of them. The community aspect. Now back in the day, one of my favorite things and features about the PlayStation 3 was that the online was completely free to play. Now this was a huge plus for someone that was a kid that could not have ever convinced their parents to pay almost $7.99 or $5.99 a month to have online access like the Xbox. Now luckily I can still say that even till this day, people are still booting up the PS3 and going online and keeping the online multiplayer alive and going, and I will occasionally boot up an old Call of Duty like a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops, and I can still get into a team deathmatch lobby pretty easily.
So I just played a lobby of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. It was not bad. It was not bad. There was actually a pretty decent amount of people, good gameplay. Obviously it doesn't compare to what it was back in its heyday, but hey, if you're looking for a nostalgia kick, can't go wrong just booting up a Modern Warfare 2 lobby and having some fun.
Now I mentioned this point earlier in the video, but what truly made this console special for me and for so many other people was the online community aspect and just feeling like you were truly connected with everyone across the world. We all have those memories of staying up late at night playing Call of Duty and meeting all these people that you've probably never met in real life, but they became your online friends. You would get in lobbies together and you would continuously play and chat with each other all day and night. And it was just something so special that I don't think that these current generations, whether it's the PS4 or PS5, could ever truly replicate, because nowadays everyone has private parties and private chat logs, which is, you know, awesome, but I think it took away from that random spontaneity of the PS3 online community. And I think we all remember how chaotic those Modern Warfare 2 lobbies could get back in the day. And for me, I just look back at all those memories really fondly because they truly cemented some of my favorite things about gaming and just gave me foundational gaming memories. You know, they always say you never forget your first true love, and while the PS2 will always be my first love, the PS3 is a very close second. And for me, it's amazing to think that a console that was released released in 2006, and 20 years later, it still is held in high regard by so many people out there. I don't think this console truly got the appreciation it felt until much later in its life cycle. Now, I can go on and on about all the cool features that the PS3 had back in the day, but what makes a console truly special for me and for a lot of people is the memories you make with it. We all remember some of those crazy late night memories of just spending time playing the console. So no matter if you were playing and grinding out those Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 lobbies or playing zombies on Black Ops, or if you're sinking your time into a single player game like Little Big Planet or Infamous, I think we can all appreciate and just look back fondly in those memories and just think about how life was simpler back then. So thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
Just wasting bullets, spray and pray, baby. Spray and pray. Oh, I got panic knifed again!